Hola, welcome to Isaiah Bob Art, formerly known as IFP Art, but that name just didn't roll off the tongue. Once upon a time, I discovered this form of art called steampunk. It's an art form where you take scraps of metal, junk, etc., and slap it all together to form, something, I don't know what. I've never tried this art form, but frankly, slapping a bunch of random trash together sounds really fun, so I'm gonna do it. Luckily, my father is a mechanic, so I was able to find lots of scrap metal. Unfortunately, my father is a mechanic, so all the scrap metal was filthy. This stuff was oily, so it was fairly easy to clean. I don't even know what any of this is. I think this is the engine, and that would make this the crankcase. As for the stuff that was more rusty than oily, I'd get to sand all of it. The inside of the shed was getting really rusty, so forgive me for stepping outside. However, it's probably too late and I'm gonna die of tetanus from breathing in all that rust. So, this is my final video. Goodbye. And yes, Montana does in fact have the best views. With all of my assorted trash in place, it was time for me to figure out what I wanted to make. I was pretty sure I was going to end up making a robot of some sort, but I was also pretty sure that I had no idea what I was doing, so whatever monstrosity came out of this heap of junk, that's what we're going to get. Starting off with that cool gear doodly bob, I snipped it in half and wrapped the two pieces together with a strand of wire. I then attached an even bigger wire to the head and positioned it in a way so that I could build the body on top of it. I then ran the wire through this cool pipe thing in the hopes that I could turn it into a nice looking body. Little did I know that was a massive waste, but we'll get to that later. After the metal pipe was in place, I smashed it flat and began using my last chunk of polymer clay to keep the neck area in place as well as form the head. After baking it, it looked, not good. So I began dicing my sheet of metal into strips that I could hopefully use to make a cloak for the body. However, I tried to use UV resin to stick everything together, and instead of working, it turned everything into a mess that I was not going to deal with. So I scrapped the cool pipe and the cloak idea in favor of a simpler but funner design. I snipped the head off and bulked it up with more clay. Then I attached a wire to the head so I'd have something to work with when the clay was baked, and shoved two eyepieces into place. After a quick cook in the oven, I found a rusty spring to use as the body, and I gotta say, I love this way more than the cool tube from earlier. With everything looking slightly better than before, I threw in a bunch of wire to form the legs and support the head. However, with that thick skull of his, this robot couldn't stand on his own two legs alone, so I added a tail to give him kangaroo-style balance. I also wrapped his waist in wire to hold everything together and tamped it down with a hammer. I also decided to go ahead and add this cool little belt, which kind of makes him look like a gunslinger. And what is a steampunk character without a quirky metallic hat? I had a lot of hat options in my scrap box, but ended up gluing this giant nut on top of his head. Leaning into the cowboy vibe, I then made a metallic bandana and attached that to my robot's face. And then, well, I did have a random bullet shell lying around, so obviously I had to use it. I attached that to the tail to distinguish it from the legs. And you may have noticed that I am using UV resin attached to the bullet, even after it screwed up everything earlier. Well, as I say kids, live and don't learn. The next step was to paint everything. So after spending a staggering $18 on spray paint, I gave my steampunk robot a good coverage of clear coat to keep any loose rust from falling off. I followed this up with a sort of dark coppery color to finish off the sculpture. I could have taken a brush and painted some more detail into this, but effort. Also, I needed to get this video out quick to let my viewers know that I still do art projects on this channel and not just game dev. I hope you enjoyed this low effort video, and on to the beauty shots.